Hello, hello, welcome back. So, we have installed our VMware workstation, and now the next step here is going to actually get Kali Linux installed. So, this is how we're going to do this. You are going to go to your search engine, put in Kali Linux, and there's a download button over here. You're simply going to click that, and that is going to bring you over here. Okay, now I talked to you earlier about you get to pick and choose what kind of virtualized environment you want to set up. But I also mentioned that Kali Linux is well integrated with VMware. They're also very well integrated with VBox if that's the option that you choose to go with. In the event that you're not using either VMware or VBox, you are going to have to figure out what to download. So these two up here are the generic installations of Kali Linux. And what I mean by that is that once you download it, you're going to have to go in and figure out what kind of operating system you want to run. You're going to have to set up network configurations, things like that. Whereas if you do it with one of the more integrated versions, then that's already all done for you. So you need to figure out what it is that you need. If you want the generic one and you want to build it, then it'll be this one or this one. We're not going to go with the light version. And if you're going to do VMware, here's the integrated version for that at 64-bit, 32-bit, VBox 64, and VBox 32. Now, just in case you're wondering, how do I figure out what kind of operating system am I running? Am I running a 32-bit or am I running a 64-bit? And the easy way you can tell by doing that, if you're going to go back to your machine, you're going to go to your C drive, and you're going to go to your this PC. You're not going to go to C drive, okay? And then you're going to right click, hit Properties, and this will bring this up. So this one here tells me what kind of operating system I'm running on top. This will also tell me down here system type. It happens to be a 64-bit operating system. So when I come back here, I know I need to get Kali Linux for VMware for 64-bit. Now, when you're downloading, if you go with the core version of it, you have two options. You could either download it through HTTP or you can download it as a torrent. If you're downloading it as an HTTP, it's a one-to-one connection between you and the server, right? So you're going to download that 2.9 gigs. It'll take whatever it takes. If you do the torrent method, which is a peer-to-peer sharing type of network, depending on number of seeders there are on the other side, that's how quickly you're going to do it. So if you want to do the torrent version, you download the torrent file, which is going to be fairly small. You get yourself a torrent client like BitTorrent or whatever client of your choice. You kick it off in that, and it'll basically download it based on everyone that's seeding. Seeding means they have it on their machine and they're sharing it for upload. So if you use the torrent version, you're gonna have to um, get the if you're using the torrent version and you finish the download, what happens after that, it automatically goes into the seeding mode. So you're going to be one more seeder out there. And if you want to change that, and you don't want to seed and you don't want your machine constantly uploading data, which I generally never do, you're going to either change the file name or you're going to remove the file from the torrent site client, or you're going to turn off your torrent client altogether. So just kind of keep that in mind. But we're going down here. We're going to be getting the Kali Linux 64-bit for VMware, and it says that it's available on the Offensive Security download page. So if you click that link, that brings you over here. Now, over here, the only option you have is the torrent website or the torrent download. So we're going to download this torrent, and we are going to have to unzip it. This is running on a 7-zip. So you have options, right? Even if you're running WinZip, it'll work just the same. So for the case of this one, we're going to download 7-zip. And I'm not going to waste your time sitting here. So again, look at this 64-bit. I'm going to download that. It's free. It's open source. Whereas if you go with WinZip, it's not open source. They eventually ask you to pay up. So I personally like 7-zip. Gets the job done for me. So while this is downloading, I am going to pause it for a minute, and then when that's done, we'll come back. We will unzip the file, and then we're going to start loading it up onto your VMware or virtualized environment. So bear with me. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, guys. So I'm back. So at this point, I have downloaded the Kali Linux image. I have downloaded 7-zip, and now we're going to try to load this thing up. And the cool thing is, I actually found this computer sitting in the basement this morning, and I wanted to run it through the process as if it was a fresh machine, something I hadn't done before, because I'm assuming your machine's not going to have a lot of this stuff installed as well, so we're kind of walking through it together. So really easy, downloaded 7-zip, and then I came here, this file, which was a 7-zip file anyway, now it becomes activated. You simply right click, you go to extract file. So you could do either extract here or extract to a folder. If you do extract here, it'll happen in the parent folder, and there's a lot of files and it gets messy. So I always prefer to put it in a folder. So it's been extracted. It's sitting right over here. As I said, it's a lot of files. Now let's load this guy up. So we are using Kali Linux with VMware, right? Kali Linux is integrated with VMware. If it were not integrated and you need to go through the process of setting things up from scratch, then you're going to create a new virtual machine. But since it is already integrated, you simply open it as if you're opening a pre-existing file. So open, it was in the download folder, 2 levels deep, there it is. So when I was testing this and I was doing the dry run for this, I was working on an older computer, and that thing only had 2 processors. Kali Linux required it to have 4 processors. I don't know what this computer is gonna do for me, but a couple of things I want to kind of point out here. So processors by default is going to be at 4. The username and password is going to be root and tour. So in the event, and I don't know if it'll happen here, but in the event you try to start it up and it comes back into an error saying, hey, you need 4 processors. You only have 2 on this machine. Sorry, I can't help you. I can't turn it on. So in that case, you need to go back and you need to tell the computer, you know what? I authorize to do this on 2 processors. It's going to be slower, but I get it, but I'm taking it, right? And the way you change that is you go to Edit, Virtual Machine Settings, and when that thing shows up, you go to the processors, and you get to change any one of these, okay? So it's a multiplication that's happening over here. So you could have 2 processors and number of cores per processor. So if I change this to, now notice it says total core processors is 4. But if I change this to 1, it brings you back down to 2. So now if you hit OK and then you try to reboot, then it'll work. So again, I don't know what's going to happen with this machine. I didn't get a chance to check the processing power. So let's try to boot it up and see if it likes me. If not, we will make the modification. Let's see, virtual environment is running in long mode. Okay, so don't worry about that. That's not going to impact you here. Now, because I opened up that edit configuration thing, it thinks something has changed. So just simply do, I copied it. Hopefully, if you don't have to change it, you won't even see that screen. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh, this is a good one, actually. So because I haven't done a power cycle of the host machine since the installation of VMware, it's not going to work. This was all installed right in front of you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop the video here. We're going to power cycle. We're going to come back and we're going to see if this thing is fixed. If not, then good, right? We'll get the other goal of this course is to hit as many roadblocks as needed, but we will work through them together. So if you see this, let's do a power cycle and come right back. So I'll see you guys in another video. We'll make a part 2 of this one.